this morning you were emphasizing that the letter base, when you're teaching the child the letter base, you say this is a base. You don't say this. For this you make the sound of ba. Ba. So you actually teach this is a letter, this is its name, you pronounce the name. That's how a child learns the letters. Aleph, Beis, Gimel, right?
Right.
And that this name is, in a sense, indicating that this letter, the letter itself, which is a component of something else we're going to find out, but by itself the letter is a real thing.
Correct.
That's right, that's what you said, right?
Right.
So, this I'm assuming is true, and this is how we teach our children, Aleph Base. Maybe we teach them, call it Aleph O, but first they have to know it's an Aleph, in other words.
Right. And they have to know that O is Kometz Aleph. The Kometz also has a name.
Right. Everything has a name. It's a real thing, in other words.
Right.
So, I'm assuming that this applies to teaching children Aleph Base. But there's nothing similar in Shivim Mishonis. There's nothing similar A, B, C. An A is a convention. It's not a reality. An Aleph is a reality, it's not a convention.
That's right.
That's true? That's all true?
That's all true.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's much to reflect on and to discuss. Eventually, I'm sure we're going to get to this too. So the Rebbe is giving us a means to reflect and to relate to the principle of reduction of the oil. The reason that the oil's base is of such significance that you just now described is because it carries an oil. Or I should say the reverse way. Because it's of such significance, it carries an oil. Everything of significance carries an oil. All right. So we will again begin on the line that is marked by the Lamed Zayin on the side, although we started this point several times already. This is going to be several times plus one. So he says over here essentially that when you take the word Beis by itself, you have reduced the oil that it emanates to a great degree. Because in the oil as is represented, the oil's base, when it is part of the word Baruch, is a completely superior oil than the oil as it is in the oil's base per se. Please, let's focus in and try to understand. The Rebbe is taking pains for us to understand a certain insight which is extremely important for us, simply to begin to understand our lives and understand the godly presence in the world. We spoke this morning, instead of using the mashal from the Baruch, we spoke this morning about a table. And we said a table is a human reality. It originates in the human spirit. In its original state, it is a full-fledged table. that serves the broader and the richer part and aspect of what a table is. A table is not just a board that stands on legs. A table is that which serves human beings in a very respectful and honorable manner. So that when human beings get together, they sit around the table. It enhances their presence, their get together. Some for Sundays. This table, as it is envisioned and as it is produced by the human spirit, is a table that stands. And it stands on four legs, generally speaking. These four legs upon which this table stands are part and parcel of the concept, of the initial concept of the table. They're not added on, as we spoke many times, not added on when the table leans on to the side and you have to support it. This is the initial concept, the reality of the table. When you are examining just the leg by itself, let's say the leg fell off the table. You unscrewed it, you took it off, now you have to put it back. You're examining this leg, when you are looking at it, it's a piece of wood. But you're sorry, no, it's a leg of a table. It's already, even a piece of wood carries an Iyar, a spirit, because it's a human reality. Even when it doesn't serve the person, it's out of context. It still is a human reality. It retains, so to speak, its status to a much lesser degree, no question about it. Here we see, when we take a part of the real thing, that part is also real.
It's also what?
Real. This is one of the principles which we discussed multiple times during these, in this minor. The Rebbe says, I mentioned this morning, I think, that there are two concepts of pshitus. We discussed pshitus. This means the essential reality. There are two levels of pshitus. There is something that is poshut mitzadatzmai. It is poshut in and of itself. And then there is something that's poshut, not in and of itself, but because of its connection to something that's poshut. It's called devekut. Because it's devekut to the source, as a result of its devekut, totally, it defines itself by the source. The leg of the table carries an element of devekut. It immediately points to a table. Not only when it's connected to the table, it points right here. Here's where I belong. And this is what I'm about. Although it's a piece of wood, it's separate. Nonetheless, it retains its devekut, its connection. And as a result of this connection, it retains its spirit, its mission, its message.
Yeah, devekut to cleaving to a human reality, pshitus
to the table, and the table has a human reality to it.
Yeah. So it would seem that everything in human life retains this reality. Letters of every language, all human objects.
Well, we can discuss it in a broader sense. As long as the human being retains his human status, yes, indeed, it does.
Right, so it's like based on what the human being is doing. Okay.
In other words, God has blessed human beings with all kinds of different talents. One of them is they have beautiful voices. Some of them. And they have musical talents. This musical talent and the voice clearly is a human blessing. But if this is produced in a subhuman message, where he is not interested in the message, not interested in the effect of it, interested in being applauded, couldn't care less of what his message was, or getting paid. He's not giving, he's not performing as a human being, he's performing as a voice. Like I said, a bass is not the sound of the bass, it's a bass.
So if it goes that way, then it becomes stripped.
Then it's severed from its source.
Yeah.
I don't understand why a table leg, if a table leg retains something special, why are we allowed to just throw it in the garbage? Why shouldn't we bury it?
Because we have bechira, the leg has nothing to do with bechira. Exactly right.
How's that?
Don't say you don't, because you do.
That's not an answer.
What?
That's not.
Why not? You understand what I said or not?
Halacha is that
It's
bury
open,
like.
you don't have to do that.
Uh-huh.
What?
Why are we allowed to throw it out, to discard it, to burn it? To just,
What?
Why are we allowed to discard a table, a leg that's been used as a table leg, in the garbage to be
Okay, so you answer
burn it
this.
for
You answer this
firewood or
question.
whatever.
You answer this question, mate. You're taking me where I don't want to go. Okay, do we understand that? This is the shot that there is an oil, and it's carried even when it is reduced. It doesn't actually produce. You have the full impact. Nonetheless, because of its connection and dedication to the source, it still retains its chayes.
Is this the main point? We spent hours, maybe days.
I'm sorry?
Is this the main point? We spend many hours looking at this word, and then how a letter can be separated from it. Is this the main point, that a separated item remains connected to the original?
No, that we have way before. The main point is that how oil can be tzimtzum, and that in order to put oil into a keili, you have to be tzimtzum the oil to the extreme. And the goal of it and the purpose of it is in order to put it into a keili.
Okay, so to have light go into a keili, the tzimtzum needs to be extreme. And in the simple meaning of the words, light, just in the English meaning, right, light would never go into a vessel. So we're talking about something different from the simple meaning.
Well, light, I mean light.
Or even in the deeper meaning, right?
Right.
Light per se always remains attached to a source. If you try to put light in a box or the moon in a barrel, it's not going to work, right?
Well, as we said this morning, this is an extremely vivid and well absorbable principle. A home is imbued into a house. A house is like the keili for the home. Provided that the house allows itself to be formulated according to what the home requires.
house allows itself?
One sec.
It's a manner of speech.
Right. This that it happens this way is kind of wondrous, right? Isn't a more direct way to understand it or way to talk about it? It's like the host at the meal. Or it's a very human occurrence. Or is there something more that could be said about this?
No, this is it.
This is it.
This is why we take a human emotion.
Yeah.
Because a human being is in fact representing a godly principle in the world. But American was saying, not for the human being, there would be complete lack of any godly presence in the world. Principle. We spoke about this way back when. Remember that question? What would the world be without the human?
It would be the Museum of Natural History.
Right. So when you get
Showing it to
Yeah.
who will be the visitors in the Museum of
Nobody.
Natural History?
the story signifying nothing. When you get right down to it, it's just this simple human truth. There's not much more that can be. You have the mashal for it, and that's about it.
The simple human truth is the divine presence in the world. Why do you call it simple? Because you have it. It's simple.
No. Obviously priceless, but simple in the sense of that not much more can be said about it, or not much more could be.
Much more can be said about it. Because this simple human truth is privy to godliness.
Yeah. Right. Everything hinges upon this.
He recognizes the truth of godliness, and he has a completely different regard for the world. I happened to be in a situation where I had to reflect and produce a certain insight today. A lady had a car accident, and she actually injured another human being.
What? She injured someone else.
You can imagine what happened when she was completely destroyed. Her husband asked her, I'm going to the Oyel. What hachlota are you going to take? So she said, I'm not going to drive anymore. He tells me this. I said, no, tell her this is not a good idea. One does not give up on life because something occurred. Life is a godly mission. You still have responsibility to continue and develop. And thinking about it, and reflected on something more tragic in our history, not so long ago. The Nazis in Machmom gassed a third of our nation, a third of the entire nation, and then they cremated them into ashes. Should we then say that our mission in the world, godly mission in the world, is now ended and we just forget about it? Or should we then pick up and continue to develop and fulfill our mission, our divine mission? Of course we should. It's exactly what happened. As a result of that, we have a nation today. So
It's an interesting thing you could say that what's happening in Germany today is a similar story to the lady with the accident. That because they committed this horrible, as a people, this horrible atrocity, so now today they have no brains and they're willing to, and they feel compelled to accept into their bosom, into their cities, murdering terrorists. They can't confuse anybody. even if they're going to
But
slaughter them.
I'll tell you a little. I don't want to go into this. I just want to tell you a little piece of information I just now got on my computer from the Allgemeine. There were more Palestinian flags at the Democratic National Convention than American flags. So this idiocy has permeated even America. America doesn't belong there. Baruch Hashem, we have counterpart to that. But this is where it's up to. On the downturn. Let's go back to learn. Okay? So this is the principle of a tzimtzum. As a result of the tzimtzum, it's possible then to take the oil and imbue it into a keil. Okay, so we're on that line that begins with the word boy. So at this point, the oil, the full oil has been removed and remains a very small fraction of it. Shaharei, since that Mitzila originally, when this base was joined in the word Baruch, then this base was part of the Haskalah of the word Baruch. Baruch has been discussed multiple times, all kinds of different perspectives. It's a very rich concept. And it actually represents the human spirit of the godly reality in the world. Baruch, you be blessed so that anything that good should come to him. When we call Shekain, and then surely, Im Tevas Baruch, if the word Baruch, Hoy Shamuchu Beres Chilo, was joined originally in Moy Tevas. With other words, so this word Baruch is not part of a sentence or a phrase. Kimoy, for example, Baruch She'omer V'Hoyohilo. Blessed the one who said the Hoyohilo in the world was. She'oyomu V'Mehem. From these words would be understood, would be produced and represented Haskalah Mufla'ah. We already discussed Haskalah Mufla'ah. This is before I went away. Mufla'ah means a phenomenal Haskalah. A Haskalah that is completely out of this world. A Pele. Behu, and it is Eich, the Haskalah that brings to the forefront, to awareness, Shebemaimer Lavad, that by merely an utterance, Nivro Kol Ho'ilomes, all the worlds were created, came to be. B'li'oma v'yigiyo, without any effort or omel, toil. Elo, rather, al-derech, hu tzibah v'nivro. It is a creation that occurred in the manner that this person, tzibah v'nivro, expresses it more correctly, more directly. Hu tzibah, he commanded v'nivro, and they came to be. There was no need to design each one separately, or pay attention to each one separately. He commanded and they came to me. I want to discuss this in a moment. As a matter of fact, I want to discuss it now. We already discussed it the first time we learned. This Hutziba v'Nivro, what was created? How was it created in the form that it was created? was created in the world. Animals that fit into the world. You mean this occurred accidentally? Like the idiot says? What is this in Hebrew? So we already brought it out last time, I'm in coaching consciousness, that the muscle for this is from the human being again, that the human being has a home. We discussed a home. A home is a fundamental human reality. And it carries the human aura, the human oil. The reason there is a home is because there is a human being. In this home, once a human being owns a home, what happens? The home continues to develop. The home continues to develop with all kinds of nuances.
All kinds of what?
Nuances.
Nuances.
Furnishings, painted walls, special lighting, pictures on the walls. All that is part of the human expression of a home. Was this developmental state a novelty, a new creation, or is it something which drew straight from the home principle? This is like Tzimtzum Niro. This is my home. Okay, come on, spring up. Of course, it's not going to happen. The wall is not going to hang up pictures, but the whole wall will tell you this is a good place to put a picture. It, so to speak, it complements the reality itself. This is the principle of the oil that the human being brings to a home. Not just walls. It's not a house, it's a home. A house does not elicit a picture on the wall. A home does.
Yeah, the or is like the amar, amalabad.
Right. The nivro. Why were they nivro? Because they belong in the world. There is nothing missing in the world. The world has a full complement of what the world can possibly represent.
This li amal, the idea is like there's no friction, there's no opposite. It's not things being brought developmentally or
That's right.
by circumstance. Direct.
He said, "Let there be a world," and there was a world. As a matter of fact, if you learn Chumash, it says, "Reishis Barakim ez hashamayim ve'ez ha'oretz." You take a look in the Chumash. Ez hashamayim, Rashi says, the rabbis kol tzvo. The word "ez" is intended to include, to say that the tzvom, all the hosts of the Shemayim, were also part of this initial creation. Shemayim does not mean just a firmament. It means Shemayim and everything that Shemayim
It's
has.
the beginning of the olive base to the end of the olive base.
Yeah. And then there is Oretz, and everything that the earth can possibly accommodate is contained in the initial creation. There's nothing on earth that does not fit the earth reality. Which is Hashemayim Torah.
The amal, is it? Earlier today we had that house in the home. And we brought out how the house always is going to need maintenance. Like it's kind of always worldly. That's how I understood it. Is this kind of in contrast to that? The amal, the agir.
Right. You see, the thing is like this. A picture on the wall does not jump there. If I have a picture right here, it's not going to jump into it. I have to put it up. But the fact that the wall accommodates this picture is bli amal agir.
Is what?
Is
Without
without
effort and friction. It has, things have their place.
It's not a friction.
Amal.
It explains itself. It gives you. It says yes, you belong here.
Okay, so there's effort going and putting it up, but yet there's a innate.
Don't go back. Why is it an effort? Because we are putting it up on a house, not on a home. A home exists in the human concept. A house is the physical wall.
And when it's on that plane, the physical plane, so
Then yes, every little piece has to be put up. The foot, the leg on the table, better be put up with the proper screws, with the proper. If you have a competent who has got two left hands, it's not going to stand.
Right. And that is in contrast to
Right?
Ama Benivra Ha'olam, right?
Yeah.
His making of the world is different from our making of the house.
That's right. But we also have the human being was given a divine quality that he has also a home concept. Yes, the house part of the home concept can break, but the home part is not going to break. In other words, even if the table breaks, he will not lose sight what this is about. And you'll immediately call the carpenter, you call Avram Zolotov and say, please get this together, put it together. That's a little advertisement. All right, let's continue. So let's put this statement in the Maimar in perspective. He says, Baruch she'omar b'hoy hoy. The word Baruch we spoke about individually. But it says when the word Baruch, first of all the Beis and then the Baruch, and when the word Baruch is part of the phrase she'omar b'hoy hoy, it assumes a completely different richness, a flaw. Okay, how does it get that haflaw? Initially, when we spoke about Baruch, the Vorche Ish, a man is blessing him. Why is a man blessing him? He's blessing him because he perceives that he deserves his blessing and he's capable of carrying it. He has that inherent capacity, inherent richness to carry this bracha, because a blessing means that he should increase and grow in well-being and in life. Why? Because he's got that capacity, he's got that inner value, capability of utilizing. So therefore, but when you come to say the word Baruch, in the context of Baruch she'omar b'hoy hoy, this Baruch is an infinitely superior Baruch to that of Vorche Ish. Because Vorche Ish is still limited to a human capacity. It's great, but it's still reflecting of what the human being is stands for. But she'omar b'hoy hoy, the reason Nivro is because the initial creation of the world is a godly truth, a godly greatness. And it contains everything that the world can possibly bear. That's a completely different Baruch. So here the word Baruch, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, then it increases in oil to a much greater degree. I think I'm going to stop here. I don't need to elaborate anymore, but it's sufficient for us to reflect on the difference between Baruch Yish or Baruch Shomer V'Hayom. Two different Baruch.
Say the two things again, please.
Baruch Yish or Baruch Shomer V'Hayom. Baruch Yish, we discussed many times over these weeks. The human being is blessing him because the human being perceives his capacity for blessing, his greatness that can be brought out by this bracha. Baruch she'omer v'hoyo ha'olam is in a similar fashion, but what is he perceiving then? The greatness of the godly creation. She'omer v'hoyo ha'olam, it has a divine spirit completely. The word Baruch is enriched exponentially. See?
I'm sorry, maybe you spoke about it before. I forgot.
What?
Maybe you spoke about it before, but I don't remember. When you say Baruch Royo Oilam, what does this Baruch
We
mean?
just now finished saying.
You're just saying that, basically saying that the Mevorchi Ish, right? That he perceives his capacity.
This is the word Baruch by itself. But Baruch Shomer V'Hayom is a much greater thing.
I'm asking simply, what do we add Baruch to this statement that who said and was the world was?
They're expressing our appreciation, and not our appreciation, but the greatness that is contained in this Shomer V'Hayom. Baruch means it should increase indefinitely. There is no limit to it. More and more blessing.
And yet, the amazing thing is we're using the same word for both things.
The same word. That's right. That's the whole point. This word can be stripped of the great oil, but it will retain oil. Just like AyinBase will always retain oil. But when the AyinBase is part of the word Baruch, it's a different oil.
And you could take away the Shnei Ma'avoy, and that's like a tzimtzum then.
That's
but
right.
still you have the Baruch.
That's right. And even a base is an oil.
Even a base, right.
That's the whole point of it. Okay, should we continue? We're going a little bit into terminology that are going to be, I'm not going to get into.
How about giving a blessing that we can stay awake?
Okay. All of you be blessed with much success in trying to understand these phenomenally wondrous works.
Okay.
Who would ever dream that in this little kuntus there is that content?
That's $2.95.
Go to those.
Crown jewels.
And we haven't even broken through the middle.
It's not much left.
Not much left. Plenty.
No, it's still the middle. I'm saying it's not.
I understand, yeah. All right, let's go.
Where are we? Al derech is first.
Al derech. 2 lines or 3 lines from the Lamed Zayin. Okay. Ubishor shoy, a little further into the line. Ubishor shoy. In the source, now if you want to reflect, where is the Sha'omer v'hayo'elam originate? That it's a creation that is simply exposing that which is contained therein in truth. Where is this originate from? Ho bechinas amira de'ak. This is the amira element of ak, of Adam Kadmoi. Not going to go into Adam Kadmon at this point. We already had a little exposure to Adam Kadmon. Essentially, Kadmon means pristine, before creation, which means Adam as is contained in the godly reality. That is Siva Nivro.
That is what?
Siva Nivro.
Siva is Amiras Adam Kadmon.
Right. The Shosha. Amira Biak. Shinivro boy kol ha'olam is behashva. Where in this Amira were created all worlds, behashva, in total equality. Because this is the origin of creation. As he writes in the Siddur, Befirush Barusham, in explaining those words, Barusham. This is Amir Biyak. What is the significance of giving the Meirishna bracha? What is the significance of that? It is Sheyiyeh Hagilui the Amira Zul Lamata. That there is initial Amira, which is a statement from Ak, that contains everything that could be in the world, inherently. Baruch, that should be blessed, meaning it should express itself everywhere. That it should come begilui all the way to the bottom, to the lowest level in world itself. This Shiomer, this initial statement of creation. Let's go back to a simpler level. It says, Mavarche Ish, a human being is blessing you. Why is he blessing you? On what basis is he blessing you? Because he's looking at you and says, hey, you deserve it, you're able to carry a bracha. You have what to express. This thing that you have what to express is contained in your soul, contained in your intellect, in your heart, in your total capacity. So why does he have to be a bracha? It's there. The answer is that it's contained, but it is contained. I want it to come forth. I want all the richness that is contained in you to actually find its way in the world, express itself. That's what the Baruch. You should become as wealthy as your soul can tolerate. The Baruch.
That's like saying the house should become a home.
No, no, no. This is all about home. No, 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 not the The home should be enhanced to show all its richness. All the pictures that can possibly adorn your home should come to be. That's a simple illustration. Das ist the bracha. I'm sorry, what? The bracha is not to create something that has no potential. The bracha is to reveal that it's there in potential. And this